Hello, today I want to show you a couple of my favorite ankle mobility exercises. So we're going to start with my number one exercise. And all of these stretches are really focusing on ankle dorsiflexion. So bringing the toes back towards the face like this. So if you can get at least 90 degrees, that's pretty functional. Most people have a little bit more than that, but 90 degrees is a really good place to start. Ankle mobility is really important for functional movements like squatting. So sometimes your ankle mobility is what's limiting your squat, not your hips or your knees. So this first exercise is essentially a low lunge. So what we're gonna do is bring one foot forward and the other foot is gonna come back. And I usually just like to start with my feet about hip width apart. You can bring some blocks in if you need a little bit more support or to create a little bit more space. So what we're gonna do, back toes can be curled or flat, whatever feels good in your ankle. I like to usually curl the back toes to get a stretch in the bottom of my foot. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring the knee over the toes forward, right? However, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this opposite hand and place it in front of the ankle joint to secure the foot. And then as we bring the knee forward, we're gonna guide it slightly over towards the pinky toe. And you might notice your foot want to kind of collapse in or turn out, but we're going to keep the foot in a nice neutral position, and you're just going to bring your knee as far forward while guiding it towards the pinky toe, so out to the side slightly as you can without lifting the heel. So you might not be able to get as far as me. That's okay. So I'm going to repeat that same exercise on the other side. So again, bringing my feet about hip width apart, I'm going to take my opposite hand, place it right at the base of my ankle, kind of securing my foot with my thumb and my index finger and the rest of my fingers. And then I'm slowly going to bring my kneecap forward and over towards the pinky toe. And slowly bring it back up. And I usually recommend doing this 10 to 30 times. So this movement is called ankle dorsiflexion. So it requires mobility of the back of the calf, specifically the two muscles, your gastrocnemius, which goes from right above your knee joint into the heel or the Achilles tendon, and then you have the soleus, which starts on the back of that lower leg and then again inserts or becomes the Achilles tendon and then inserts into the heel. So my next exercise, so what you're gonna do is stand with your hands on the wall, and then you're gonna step one foot back, bringing the heel down towards the ground. So now I'm kind of like in a standing lunge, and I'm stretching my right calf. So I'm pressing the knee back, and you can shorten your stance if that's too intense, or you can make it a little bit wider. You might feel the stretch even if your heel doesn't come down on the ground. I usually recommend holding the stretch for at least 30 seconds, and you can repeat that on both sides. If you can stay here for a minute and a half, you can just stay in this position. But if you need a little break, you can just kind of switch back and forth, again, holding for at least 30 seconds at a time. Now, the key difference with this exercise and the one I'm going to show you next is what's happening in the knee. So for this next exercise, it's going to look very similar, but instead of having the knee straight, I'm going to have the knee bent. So we'll start on this side. I'm going to step this foot back. And then see if you can bend that knee without lifting that heel. That's gonna shift the stretch. It might feel like something to you, it might feel like nothing to you. Typically, the more superficial muscle, that gastrocnemius, is gonna get tighter, but sometimes what's limiting you is actually the soleus muscle. And like I said, the soleus muscle doesn't cross the knee joint. So when you bend your knee, it takes the tighter gastrocnemius out of the way, and then you can really feel what's going on in the soleus. So on this side, I notice like my ankle feels like it kind of wants to pop a little bit. I also like to teach this exercise to my PT clients using a stair or a small step, so allowing the heel to hang off of the step. So I'll show you with a yoga block, but this is essentially the same stretch. So let me show you. So I usually recommend if you're gonna use a step or a stair, usually just the bottom stair and then holding on for balance and safety. I'm using 2 yoga blocks. I would recommend if you're gonna use a yoga block, using cork blocks because they're a lot more firm and sturdy. So what I'll do is I'll bring my blocks together. I'm actually gonna turn to the side so you can see what this looks like. And I'm gonna do 1 foot at a time. So I'm gonna start on my step or on my yoga blocks, and then I'm gonna bring the ball of my foot on the edge of the step, and then I'm gonna let my heel hang. So here, I'm stretching that superficial muscle, that gastrocnemius, because my knee is straight, right? 30 seconds. You can switch to do the other side. If you're holding on, you can hold on with 1 hand or 2 hands, just for safety, especially if you have poor balance. And then now I'm gonna switch and do the soleus muscle. So same thing, we're gonna put the ball of the foot on the step, we're gonna hang the heel, but then we're gonna take a slight bend of that knee, and it's gonna shift. It's hard to describe the sensation, and it might feel different on each leg and maybe different in your body compared to mine, but it definitely doesn't feel the same as when my knee is straight. So to do the other side, again, hang. And then when you're ready to switch to the soleus muscle, you're just gonna start to bend that knee. So try those out. Consistency is key, so regularly, maybe every day if you have time, but if not, definitely after activity, a long walk, running, definitely running, because those muscles are power drivers for running. And let me know what you think.